iPhone 17 Pro Max versus iPhone 14 Pro Max. Why 2025 could be the year you upgrade. The wait is nearly over. Apple is all set to unveil the iPhone 17 Pro Max in just a little over 3 months, with a grand reveal expected in September 2025. With each annual launch, Apple usually brings iterative enhancements. But this time, it's more than just the usual cycle of improvements. The iPhone 17 Pro Max could deliver major refinements across design, performance, battery, and camera hardware, along with software improvements powered by iOS 26. So, the big question stands. Is this the upgrade moment for iPhone 14 Pro Max users? Let's break down what's coming, what's changing, and whether it's worth leaving your 2022 flagship behind. Magnifying glass tilted left redesigned camera bump, a visual game changer. Based on credible leaks and renders, the iPhone 17 Pro Max is expected to feature a massively restructured rear camera island, stretching from one edge of the phone to the other. Not only is this a bold aesthetic choice, but it's also functional, providing extra room for advanced camera sensors and new internal hardware. Though it might slightly increase the top heaviness of the device, it will undeniably stand out in a crowd of lookalike smartphones. By comparison, the iPhone 14 Pro Max introduced the 48MP main camera but still used 12MP ultra-wide and 3x telephoto lenses. It also had a much smaller camera bump and a design language that now feels dated against modern trends. Gear, design tweaks, and display enhancements. The iPhone 17 Pro Max will still carry forward the Action button, USB-C port, and the Dynamic Island, which Apple introduced in previous generations. However, reports suggest that the Dynamic Island notch will shrink, offering a cleaner and more immersive display experience. That means more usable screen real estate without sacrificing Face ID or front camera performance. The display itself is seeing a substantial jump. We're getting a 6.9-inch Liquid Retina XDR OLED panel, featuring ProMotion with an adaptive 1 Hz, 120 Hz refresh rate. It's rumored that Apple will use Samsung's new M14 OLED panel, promising better power efficiency and a peak brightness of up to 3000 nits, a considerable upgrade over the 2000 nit cap of the 14 Pro Max. Additionally, while the iPhone 14 Pro Max had 7.8mm thickness, the iPhone 17 Pro Max could be around 8.8mm. Still, Apple may opt for aluminum frames instead of titanium to reduce weight and lower manufacturing costs. Rocket next-gen performance with A19 Pro chip. The biggest performance shift comes with the brand new Apple A19 Pro processor. Built either on a 3nm or possibly even 2nm fabrication process, this chip will deliver extraordinary gains in efficiency, processing power, and AI performance. In contrast, the iPhone 14 Pro Max runs on the A16 Bionic chip, which was cutting edge in 2022 but now clearly lags behind modern silicon in performance and energy management. Over time, the efficiency gap becomes more noticeable, especially when running intensive tasks or using AI-based apps. Accompanying the A19 Pro will be 12 GB of RAM, a huge step up from the 6 GB in the 14 Pro Max. This not only enables smoother multitasking but also better future-proofs the device, particularly with AI integration becoming mainstream in iOS 26. Camera revolution. 48MP across all lenses. Apple is expected to equip the iPhone 17 Pro Max with 48MP sensors for all 3 rear lenses, including a new 5x periscope telephoto lens. This opens the door for vastly improved hybrid zoom and sharper telephoto shots using in-sensor cropping. Up front, the FaceTime camera is also getting a big bump, from 12MP to 24MP. This would make a noticeable difference for selfies, video calls, and AI-powered enhancements like portrait correction and background separation. As for video capabilities, 8K video recording could make its debut, leapfrogging over the 4K 60fps standard that iPhones have used for years. That's a massive win for content creators and videographers. Battery and charging. Bigger, smarter, longer. One of the most exciting upgrades is in battery life. The iPhone 17 Pro Max is expected to house a battery between 4,700 and 5,000 mAh, making it the largest in iPhone history. Compared to the 4,323 mAh battery in the iPhone 14 Pro Max, this is a huge leap, especially when combined with a more efficient A19 chip and M14 OLED display. Charging speeds are also getting a much-needed boost. The iPhone 17 Pro Max supports 27W wired charging, 25W MagSafe 2.0 wireless charging, reverse wireless charging, a first for iPhones, enabling users to wirelessly charge AirPods or Apple Watches directly from the phone. The iPhone 14 Pro Max, in contrast, maxes out at 25W wired and 15W MagSafe wireless, with no reverse charging support. Brain iOS 26, the biggest software overhaul in a decade. iOS 26 introduces the liquid glass visual theme, Apple's most daring UI change in 10 years. Depending on user preference, it can appear either subtly elegant or boldly translucent, resembling the Aero glass from the Windows Vista era, but more refined and interactive. New visual features include dynamic wallpapers that shift and adapt based on content, animated album art on the now playing screen, live translated calls, similar to Google Pixel's call translation, smart spam call/text filters. Productivity features are also in focus. The Camera app now hides in used modes, Photos app gets streamlined album access, and Messages introduces typing indicators, customizable chat backgrounds, and in-chat polls, great for group conversations. Apple Maps, Music, and other native apps are also getting quality-of-life upgrades, like translated lyrics and smart route suggestions when traffic is detected. VS Button iPhone 14 Pro Max recap, still solid, but now showing its age. When the iPhone 14 Pro Max launched in 2022, it introduced many groundbreaking features. First ever 48MP main camera. First appearance of Dynamic Island. High-end A16 Bionic chip. Always-on display. Stainless steel frame. It was one of the best smartphones of its time. But fast forward to 2025, and several of these specs are beginning to feel outdated. The lack of USB-C, slower charging, lower memory, and diminished battery health make it harder to recommend for heavy users or those interested in AI features, 8K video, or better multitasking. Package storage configurations. The iPhone 17 Pro Max is expected to start at 256 GB of base storage, dropping the 128 GB variant entirely. This mirrors Apple's move with the iPhone 15 and 16 Pro models. It's expected to go up to 1 TB, ideal for those who capture 8K videos or keep massive photo libraries. The iPhone 14 Pro Max, however, was the last to offer a 128 GB base variant, and with today's data-heavy apps and media, that's starting to feel cramped. Test tube: should you upgrade from iPhone 14 Pro Max? If you're currently using the iPhone 14 Pro Max, here's what you're potentially gaining by switching to the iPhone 17 Pro Max. White heavy checkmark, a brighter and larger 6.9-inch OLED display. White heavy checkmark, a smaller dynamic island notch. White heavy checkmark, the powerful new Apple A19 Pro chipset. White heavy checkmark, double the RAM, 12 GB versus 6 GB. White heavy checkmark, future ready for Apple AI features. White heavy checkmark, fully upgraded camera system. White heavy checkmark, support for 8K video. White heavy checkmark, reverse wireless charging. White heavy checkmark, much longer battery life. White heavy checkmark, faster wired and wireless charging. White heavy checkmark, USB-C standard.